Here at Tacopa Mines with Ross, the owner. What do you got going on here?
Well, this is our Columbia Mine shaft, one of the old ones put in by the Tacopa Consolidated Company back around the turn of the last century. When I got out here a few years ago, this was just a big subsided hole in the ground about 40 feet across, 30 feet deep, with a debris-filled pit in the middle of it. The locals called it the ant trap shaft or the sarlacc trap because if you get close to the edge, it would just kind of subside down towards the bottom. And quite a drop down there. So,
how deep is it?
120 feet. We dug it down, recollared it, 20-footer new shaft collar, all new ladder down to the bottom.
Wow.
Got the room at the bottom all cleared out, made a lot of space open up down there. It's connecting drift crosses the other shaft over there on a bridge we put in a couple years back, and it opens up the whole 140 level of this side of the Columbia Mine. And from there are ways down all the way to the bottom at 950 feet.
And how many mines again are there?
There's 4 on the property.
Okay, this is Columbia and what?
Columbia. We have the Noonday up there.
Okay.
The Grant on the other side of the hill over there. And the War Eagle mine is a little further over there and runs under all of these, except Columbia.
Okay. We are almost to our destination. That's quite a tailings pile.
Just so this pile over here is just 7 miles. The last 7 years of production over here. So
That's a lot. We were noticing as we came up.
that's 7 years worth of work out of the 82 years this place was running.
I noticed it used to be paved. That's quite an investment too.
This company paved the road all the way into Tacopa.
And what was the name of the company?
That was the Anaconda Mining Company.
Okay,
back in the
I've heard
day.
it. And when did it stop? When did the mining?
1957.
1957.
Did they make any money off of it, or did they just go in debt? Like,
They did pretty well. I mean, the government was buying all the lead they could pull out of here, so.
Oh, that's what it was mainly for? Huh. Okay. Hey, Tom.
I'm Dan.
Oh, Dan. I'm sorry. David.
How you doing? Nice to meet you guys.
Exactly.
We're gonna have fun.
Okay.
So this portal here, like this is a haulage tunnel. It just comes out of the mine. The main shaft by 1949 was not really usable anymore, just caving ground and too small. So they drove this one in from outside. It goes back half a mile from here and hits the mine on the 690-foot level.
I think it was so big a house had a double curl. The horn went all
Too many keys to look alike, sir.
right out.
I'm having that issue myself.
that's cool. Yeah, we have yet to run into one. We have it in Washington. Sheep, goats, cows, horse, chickens, rabbits.
Oh, man.
Do you see a lot of rattlesnakes up here?
Not too many. Of course, some of us are better climbing than
Hats.
others.
Grab your hat.
Okay. All right. In out.
Like brass in and out.
How far do you think they would, how far could you tunnel in a day like this?
Depending on the period of machinery you're using. The older miners, 6 to 8 feet a day. Probably around this day, about 20 feet.
Huh.
Today, a lot faster, bigger machines.
That's neat.
A few artifacts we can get staged further back in. So.
Yeah, let me show
What's
you
that?
this stuff
What's the-
here. It's got real blasting caps. That's what they look like, and they stick this fuse here
Now how
into it and crimp it, and light it and then run.
those are they don't use those anymore. They use the electrical ones, right?
Some of the old ones still use them.
No, these are safety fuses. This is dynamite here. You gotta handle that with care. I mean, oh, how about
Yeah, we got some fake ones too. Broomstick wrapped.
you'll see some real dynamite, but that's just wooden dowels.
They left behind plenty, unfortunately. We're still doing cleanup on it.
What do we got there? What is that? Ethylene glycol. Antifreeze. What's that, a battery pack? Or a breathing?
No, right?
Is that breathing or battery?
That's a rescue pack, self-rescuer.
For breathing?
Yep.
1949.
Drill bits, blasting caps.
Self-rescuer is what you use if there's a mine fire or other issue.
Does it just filter out the carbon dioxide?
They'll filter out the dioxide for about, and the monoxide for about 20 minutes, give or take. Back when I was touring some of the mines in Europe, they were handing us some of those and some of their deep tours. And, you know, I was trying to explain how they work. In fact, one of the tourists said, I'm really not sure, we've never used them. Well, I can tell you how they work. And, you know.
What kind of mineral is in there? Do you know about just?
Yeah, this is, we've got some of our iron oxides in there. That's mainly iron oxides. Nice chunky.
Yeah.
Come down, so you set it there, and you see a little bit of copper in there, not a whole lot.
We found part of a dynamite box yesterday, but there was no writing on it, unfortunately.
Here, you look at that claw there. Air driven, that's like a heavy.
That saw.
Everything here is powered by compressed air.
For spark reasons, correct?
Oh, we found one of these in Washington, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys bring these beams in here?
No, they were here, that's the remains of the old hoist that used to be here.
Wow, I can't imagine how they got those in here.
Well, they had the electric trains back then, and lots of machinery and lots of people, so. We cleared the walls of the vandalism over there, and eventually we're gonna be memorializing the names of all the people that have come in and helped and done the work in order to make all this possible.
So one of the one I told you I took the video off, he had a hand-powered drill, pneumatic. I think I've seen him on YouTube somewhere. You know, you turn a crank and it manually, and we've
Oh, the old drifters, yeah.
we've come across those are small. How come most of the drills we see are much bigger than this? Are these newer or something, or what's?
These are probably a couple of the newer ones.
The
Yeah,
ones
these-
we've seen you couldn't carry.
Yeah, the big drifters. Yeah, those.
They got
those,
you set them on the jack leg.
Yeah, that's a
and-
2-man. Yeah. Yeah, you don't see too many of those anymore. These will do the same work.
That's what I was wondering if there's one of them. The claim is it's steam powered. There's a condenser and a steam
Yeah, they
thing
did
on
that
it.
once.
Yeah.
I know where there's one in a mine not too far from here, but no one will ever get it out.
They had these gates on these things. It would bring the ore cars up and open the gate.
Oh.
The winch was back over there somewhere.
So how do you want us to go down?
We're gonna go down the manway over here.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see that over there. All right. And how deep is that?
Taken up either by the company or by scrappers. Probably the latter.
Drill. They can afford to even start drilling holes in the rock. They core drill it. That way they know where the ore bodies are.
I would imagine the diamond drill was a blessing.
It's tight up on our left here up above.
Yeah.
Now that they made that by spiraling a flat piece of metal and then welding it.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing.
That's the air line for the drill.
How old is that?
Now watch yourself on this section here. There's a lot of support rail here. We got timber down. We have a place to make sure the tools down. We should put Larry to work on this when he was here. We got a little rail here. We got to haul up yet. So keep forgetting this rail's here. We need it up top. There's one thing I hate moving down here is that rail. It's heavy. That doesn't go around corners very well. Come around the hole here, please. trap door is long gone off of that. And you can see our drawbridge over here. One's up and one's down. So that's how they decide, control where the cars got off or carried on.
How does that work? Like a trap door?
It's a drawbridge. If it's up, the car keeps
I
going
see.
down.
I see.
And if it's down like this, the car comes off onto the level.
Huh. That is amazing. I was in construction for a long time. I look at this and I see that's a lot of work. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's not, cabinet finishry level, but it's a lot of work
And most of it was done down here. You got to haul your wooden materials down, and
with a carbide lamp and candles.
you can see a lot of rock chips in the timbering over here. So they were blasting contemporaneous with this timbering. So
Is that what that's from?
that's what all those chips are. That's from the blasting that was going on here when those were up. So
Interesting. I don't think it would have never occurred to me. I should have thought it was on the ground first or something.
no, that's blasting driving it back in. Now we got a fair bit of fall in this area right here. So there's a very large, stope up here that goes up to the top. In fact, we were looking into it a few minutes ago.
Wow. How far up, do you think?
100 feet up. We'll go back in here. Just gotta watch your step coming over this stuff. Figure sometime back in the 80s or so, late 70s, early 80s, there was some seismic action back here that dropped in sections of all these mines. But nobody was out here to record it, so we don't know exactly when.
Wow. That's definitely the biggest open stope I've been in, which doesn't say much, but
There's a lot bigger in this place.
yeah, I bet.
Anaconda in the 50s was running slushers and blowing stopes like you wouldn't believe. But as you can see, we had a whole bunch down off the back over there.
Jeez.
When we were up looking down a few minutes ago, we were looking down into that space, or from up there. It kind of levels off and goes shorter incline up there, but that's where a lot of the air circulates in front.
We noticed on some videos there have been fires.
Yep.
People set those, or was that from the back?
No, they're set deliver like jackasses. We have two of our shafts here that have been seriously burned. Several other smaller fires set. Somebody had a campfire over here.
Yeah, I saw that. That's what I was.
This seems
No,
dangerous.
we've had some pretty significant arson damage to this mine, this complex, mostly back in the 80s.
Neat. Never been anything like this.
Oh my god, look how sparkly the rock is.
And this is a small stope compared to what they were doing in other areas, but you'll see some of that.
Okay.
I like the minerals is my favorite part, the pretty ones. Specifically like the copper, the turquoise greenish color.
Yeah, this is classic anaconda timbering right here. You see our vein right up there. So
Oh yeah.
most of that's iron oxides up there. But as one of our good folks who's not here today would say, the iron oxide is just kind of the crust on the pie. It is on the outside of the veins where the better stuff's at. So where you see that, your lead and your silver are not far away.
Huh.
Remember that stope I showed you about going down
Mm-hmm.
with the vent pipe? This is the bottom of that. You can feel the air coming down actually from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I reworked this section a little bit. It's basically just another, ore pass with a slusher dragging down out of here. Yeah, it's still full of a lot of crap we haven't pulled out, including a lot of salvage wood and stuff, but we'll get to her one of these days. Right now, it's just an emergency escape from down here and ventilation. But as
Both
you-
important things.
That's the nice thing about this mine is there are so many ways to move around in here, so many alternate paths.
Do you have it all memorized?
I do.
All 4 places? That's amazing.
Yeah. It's taken a few years. But, you know, one bite at a time, one walk at a time, and eventually it all comes together. Between, you know, studying the maps and knowing kind of how mines are put together, it's and you can nice and tall in a section like this because they were working it with the mucking machines and such. So the AMCO 12B mucker needs 7 feet to operate in, so you'll get that in this section. And we got a little fault coming through, a little geologic intrusion of a different material coming through. Almost looks like talc, but I can't get my hand up there, which wouldn't surprise me down here because we are close to the talc mines across the road. Down here. But here's our face back here, and you can see where they were, you know, bringing some down over there. Didn't even completely muck it out. They've got poking up into the vein over there, just a little last ditch. What do we got? You can see in the face back there, real nice you know, shot pattern.
That's how many holes they had to drill to continue this shape.
Yep.
Really.
And those are, what, 4 feet? How deep do you think? Just depended
Yeah.
what drill bit they wanted to use?
As you can tell by the air down here, there's no circulation coming down from above. I got some real nice ore in what's left of the rock pillar over here, but too many people have been here chipping at it before I got in here, so we've compromised it pretty well.
I look down in there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's some more stoping that goes down to the next level.
I
She's chopped out down to the 890 real,
yesterday.
almost completely.
That one's my favorite. It has a bunch of the turquoise like copper, but it has that sparkle on it.
That leads back around to where we came from,
Where
just
were you
a
at?
little harder.
It's near
Path now, 'cause
Vanilla.
it's-
We got to the big steam winch or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen the steam winch inside of it.
Ooh, that's cool.
I can take some pictures.
We did one the week before that was over there on the east side.
Over there,
of
that
the,
channel's right down to the
Death
890.
Valley.
Yeah. It was.
I drove down within a quarter mile with the Jeep, and on the way back it was so steep we had to. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was way back in there.
This one we were at was so bad that now I had to weed 20 times to get out.
Wow. Yeah, we lowered.
Yeah, if you go all the way down, you can just see the structure down there of another ore chute down there
Just
that
to be safe, there was.
drops off on the 890 level.
Was that a organized tour?
No, we just.
How many levels are to this one?
5 below, well, 4 below this one.
Maybe to find that kind of equipment still around, let's get so far out to do that.
It was the.
So this was, what period was this? How many, like 60 years?
This stuff here was done in the 50s.
What was the oldest mine then, where they first started?
They started in 1875. I knew they started, and War Eagle did start back then too. Just, most of those old sections are way up in the mountain where they've been overcut by Anaconda's work. The only one that's really intact to to those days is Noonday, in which we take people on tours, and the Grant, which we're just starting to work on. We haven't, we don't take anybody over the Grant yet, but she goes down 2 levels. It's small, but beautiful. And you feel the airflow change here. This is another stope that goes up. Back up to the 690 where we came from. Can't quite see it here. It's a fairly narrow stope here, or a slusher stope. I like how this particular blast hole is actually cut through, and
Oh,
you don't see too many of those, but
were these an AMFO at any point here?
oh sure. That's how they cut these out originally. Yeah, they just blasted and dragged everything down. There's some of our rails, so watch it. Good for tripping people, but people, I mean me. A lot of the slusher cable's still here. In usual poor condition because the machine, it was pretty hard on the cable, so. Well, with Snap, they just re-splice it or keep using it, so they couldn't splice it anymore. There's some more of our nice Nicolina stringer back in here. Actually, a pretty good silver concentration in this section.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
So they actually would run water in there to keep the dust down and air.
And then all the way up, you see up there, that's the 690 up there. So everything for 100 feet up is completely taken.
Silver?
Right there.
In fact, we'll be up there shortly.
Behind you, I think.
Yeah, you were reasonable. It's an affirmative defense, so you have to prove. The elements fall on you. Again, I was in training for a while, so.
So what do we got going here?
Finds rocks on the
Oh, just got a little mineral breakout here, just
I'm gonna send her.
nothing really. You know,
Mostly iron, or?
Yeah, almost all.
And then is that what? What's the white?
Just probably more, calcium carbide. What do you think the white is here, Dan? I'm
There's
gonna
no
be out.
quartz here, is there?
Geology is my weak point. Very, very, very little.
And does all quartz have gold?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
Like our quartz does not.
Wasn't
So what
clear.
is that white stuff, Dan? What do you think?
That's probably calcite. It's basically an evaporite. It dissolves out with a little bit of fluid in the rocks and kind of percolates out.
And some of our green is either,
Little
chrysocolla,
copper.
malachite, a little copper there. Yeah, we got some fluorescent minerals in here, some limonites and samsonite. Well, limonite's not fluorescent. We get a lot of limonite, we get samsonite. So,
Yeah, there's a
That's
lot of.
mostly limonite and hematite.
Wow.
very, 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 very large stope. Goes up about 200 feet. Goes that way quite a ways. At some points the ceiling is, say, 50, 60 feet up. It's
Really?
This whole section exists just to mine that section up there.
Hmm.
That's just a car dump around the corner with its stashed cars.
Look out.
Oh, wow, it comes to.
Cool.
Passageway stopped a lot of people, so. That's why we still have an infrastructure down here. Even scrappers weren't in here for the most part. They did get our power transformers.
What are those? Oh, it was a transformer?
Yep,
Was there wire around or something?
a lot of copper.
That's where it went.
And brass, and yeah, they brought the generators were at the pad at my camp, and they brought them over for power lines, and power poles on the surface, and then down the main shaft. So
What is that?
No, cable clamp.
Cool.
The ends of that.
I think the old day boxes left behind where they have the day's dynamite in them.
Is there what do they call it, dynamite vault or whatever?
Magazine is back down around the corner. I'll show you that when we head back. We're gonna go another path when we come out of here. So I'll show you that.
What's this cable for?
Above, that's where the vent pipe was hanging off it. And probably electric lines too. This is one of the few sections of mine that actually had electrical lines because they were running the power line back to the big hoist back there. Into a battery charging station where they were charging up their engines.
Part of a car?
Yeah, another restoration project. Gotta get up one of these days.
How does it, is there, what kind of bearings are they? Solid main bearings or?
I think I got one left, but it froze up. So, we're gonna rebuild this whole base, and the tub that it went under is 200 feet above us, so we've got to mate them back up again, which is not gonna be fun.
Let me see how it comes apart. Is it pressed on together?
That one is, that's,
Do they move right now?
no.
They're locked up.
Yes. We'll get her going. Robin will fix it. Robin can fix anything.
Pretty much.
But remember that one up top that's it's got the riveted parts that are now welded onto the, we've got one up there that's probably been in service, since the World War I era. They've been rebuilding and it's missing the truck, and I guarantee this is it. Some jackass threw it down the main shaft, which is up here. And for most of the mine's operating life, all the ore came out through this main shaft back here. So watch yourself coming around here. People burned it, unfortunately.
Let me picture this door. Go ahead, while you stand in
The car
there.
you're looking at right here was actually down in the bottom, and the San Bernardino Cave and Mine Rescue Team hauled it out. Took 2
City.
days using nothing but hand tools and crank windlasses.
What is that, red lines in the?
I went that way.
Oh, I stepped on it, phone.
Oh.
It's just damaged. It doesn't affect anything.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's just there. I think I knelt on it or something.
You want to pass it again?
But everything else works, so. Ooh.
Come careful past here.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of climbing stuff, and I had the intention of going down into some shafts. I discovered I don't really like that much. Wow.
So this is the bottom of the shaft, and unfortunately it burned out, so it was burned. 600 feet up top is the zero level drift that that comes in up there, and all the ore was hauled out that way for most of the mine's operating life, right up to 1949 or 50, and then it was taken down by trucks.
How did this collapse again? It burned out, you said?
It was arson fire. Vandals, doing what vandals do.
Is this where, you can give me a brief explanation of why there's false floors? Is that, what was that here, or?
Yeah, there would have been a deck here where the cars would have come out, and there would have been a dump bin here, or they would then load the skips that ran up and down the shaft here. And it was all wood structure, and all incinerated by some jackass. It's something that would have taken a couple crews of men, months to build and
Yeah.
years to operate. And one fool wipes it out in 15 minutes for no reason.
Is it?
Old mine toilet over there.
I think I saw this in one of the
Okay.
videos.
We took a tour of.
And that's, remember, we're up at the, we're down the bottom looking up at that big stove.
No, not this one, but this was
There's-
the
there's
same
what comes-
route where we took a tour. And I
All
think
those
they
down
offered
rocks are
us
right
to
below
take,
us
like,
down
a
there.
walk, and
And you can see
I
the
forgot to,
remains of that
so
over there,
we
so.
did a sample.
That's the 790 down there.
Well, there's a lot there you can sample.
Really nice.
Here's the bathroom if you guys need it.
You get good quality, it's greasy.
Yeah, it was so soft. It felt like.
We are gonna get in here and try to reshore some of this up in the
Wow,
near
that is
future. But
sparkly.
again, yeah, they would have been our closest magazine right there. The door is messed up because the person who hung it didn't know what he was doing. And messed it up. We're gonna fix that. Over the years, that door has been kicked off and rehung and kicked off and rehung by so many fools. Even the movie company rehung that door, which was one of the things I was grateful for, but again, somebody busted it later.
Is that where they kept the dynamite?
Yep. Just a little alcove that was back in about 20, 30 feet. But we're gonna get that door fixed. I just need bigger nails, or bolts to hinge it right. The door will actually swing again instead of just. As you can see, we've got all of our piping is much more intact back here, because the scrappers didn't want to come through all that stuff. Unfortunately, enough of them did come through. Back here was a charging station for the electric locomotives. There was a big battery bank here at one time with chargers and a block and tackle. They'd lift the batteries out, put the new ones in the cars. Yeah, most of that's gone. And a little workroom around the corner here.
I was gonna say, is there a lunchroom?
No. Another workshop area. You can pull these boards away and a little pit there like an oil change pit where you can get into the cars and work.
Monkey pit.
Eventually a couple of drills broke apart. Some of my tools were working further back in the mine. And again, around the corner was more of a big square set raise that went up to 500, but it's all down. Yeah, it's two complete, most complete Ingersoll Rand rock drills there. And the old guy says you can have those things running in a couple hours, and I believe it.
That concludes the end of our tour. Thank you anyways.
Happy to, man.
Appreciate it.
Come on back another time. We got much more mine to see. We'll have Columbia online probably for tours in the fall.
All right.
We have to put that staircase in the main shaft, so that's our next big project.